Welcome to grade 7 quadrilaterals. So I'm just going to explain to you a couple of concepts of a quadrilateral, and then we're going to do some examples. So a quadrilateral or a quad is just something with 4 sides. So if it's 4 sides like this or 4 angles, then you know it is a quadrilateral. I always struggle with the word. It's a very big word, quadrilateral. So let's just talk about some aspects about it. But before we do, I would just encourage you to take either a photo of this page or a screenshot or draw it for yourself. Because when we do the examples, I'm going to refer to diagram A, B, C, D, or E, and then at least you know what it is. And also you're going to need this going forward in your grades, for example, grades 8 and 9, etc. So therefore, we can just keep this page handy. It will be absolutely great. All right. So let's see a quadrilateral. So it's 4 sides, but and the sides and the lines, sometimes there's different qualities. So each diagram has got different qualities, and when it have different qualities, then there's a relationship between the angles, and that's very important. But you do need to remember this. So let's see. Let's start with diagram A. So diagram A is just any quadrilateral. Doesn't matter what it is. It's just saying if you add up all the angles A, B, C, and D, so it's A plus B plus C plus D, all of that equals 360 degrees. So just keep that in mind. Any quadrilateral, there's different ones we're going to do now, but all of them also, all the angles will equal 360. Let's do diagram B. So here you can see this 2 lines over here. So if you see that 2 lines, it means this side and this side are the same. So the 2 opposite sides are the same. So that is what these 2 lines mean. Here you see the yellow has got 1 line. So usually if they'll have 1 line on the left and 1 line on the right, then you know that lines are exactly the same. Or they'll have it on top. It doesn't matter where it is, but what is important, if there's 2 on top, it must be 2 at the bottom. If there's 1 on the left and 1 on the right, it means the 2 opposite sides are the same. All right, so that's just an important thing for you to remember. So, but this, they will give it in a question. So when we're going to do the questions later, just look out for these. What this means is these 2 lines are parallel to each other. So parallel just mean they are, so let me just maybe do a separate one. So parallel mean if you have any 2 lines and you have a thing like that, it means they are parallel. It means the distance here, if this was 2 pieces of wood, then, and this distance, for example, is 1 meter, and you measure it there, that will be 1 meter as well. And if we extend it further and measure it over there, it will be 1 meter. So it just means the distance are always the same between that 2 lines. So sometimes it will give it like that. Sometimes it will give it like this. It doesn't matter what they give. If they show two parallel signals like that and another 2, then you know these 2 lines are parallel. Then it means that distance are the same. So just keep that in mind for parallel lines. All right, let's go back to the sum. So in this here, you have it showing that 2 parallel signals. So now you know this line and this line are parallel, like I explained now previously, and this line over here and this line, they are parallel. All right, so that's something to remember. And here they also give this as 90 degrees. So this rectangle means this angle are 90 degrees. So if you see something like this, where it's showing 90, it's showing this 2 lines are the same, the yellow, The green, if it shows these two lines are the same, and it's showing the two lines over here, they are parallel, and also these two are parallel. If they give all of that, then the rules are that all the sides equal 90. So A equals 90, B equals 90, C equals 90, and D equals 90. Right? So that's for diagram B. Let's do diagram C, this one over here. So here you see two long lines over there and over there, and two shorter lines over there and over there. So just keep your eye on that. So remember we spoke about these two things. It just means this line and this line are the same. And here we have a yellow signal on that line and that line. It means this one here and that one are the same. So that's just what that means. So if you have that, and it almost looks like a kite, if you look properly, it looks like a kite. So if you see something like this, that looks like a kite, and they give that two lines are the same, and the two bottom lines are the same, then the rule is A equals C. So this is A over here, this is C on the left. So if you see something, then you can just say that A equals C. So that was diagram C. Diagram D, you have again two lines, and it's showing they are parallel. So just keep that in mind. And then you just give these two lines and saying they are equal. So that's the only thing they give there. Two parallel lines, two equal lines. And if you have that, then the rule is this angle A equals angle B. This is what I've written here in blue. So let's repeat again. Angle A equals angle B, and angle C equals angle D. So that's for diagram D. Let's go to diagram E. So you have again the green showing these lines are equal, and it's also showing they parallel. So the equal and parallel, and similar to this over here. They equal and parallel. So if you have something that's equal and parallel, so to remove all of this, equal and parallel, then the rule is A equals C, and B over there equals D. So just be very careful of diagram D and diagram E. It looks the same. Not looks the same, but I mean it's got four angles, four sides, but it's different rules. So what is different? Here you have this side and that side the same, but here you also have this side and that side the same. But in diagram D, you have this parallel to this, not equal to. Remember, this is a parallel sign. But in diagram E, you have that line and that line equal to each other. So this means they are equal to each other, but this signal over here means they are parallel, and that is the difference. And if you have that difference over there, then, so for diagram D, A equals B, but in diagram E, you have A equals C. So just very important just to try to remember this. But let's do some examples, then we can see together if we can identify it. All right, so let's go to the examples. So let's work out X. So I'm now here with this one here on top. So let's work out this X over here. So remember, for quadrilateral, I'm just going to write it there at the bottom. All sides are equal to each other. So you have X plus 68 plus 94 plus 99, and all of that equals 360. If you look on your other page, that will be diagram A. So let's just go back as diagram A. All the sides equal 360. So we're going to use that. Oops. So we are going to use that rule, do this, and then you work out 360. And at this stage, please look at my grade 7 video for algebra, because in there I explain exactly how you work out these kind of things. So I'm not going to do the full workings here, but if you look at my other video, then you can see x equal 99. So that x equal 99. And you can try it on your own. Just see if you can get to the same answer. And if you get to the same answer, then we know you understand my previous video as well. All right, let's move over to this diagram. So what do we have here? We have no sides are the same, but I'm just going to remove this working over here. So just come back here. So we have 4 sides, but there's nothing showing they're the same. But we see a 90 degrees over there. So if you see a 90 degrees, the rectangle, then you know that's 90. And now you can do exactly the same, where you say y. I'm going to do it maybe more bottom. So y plus 48 plus 90 plus 118, all of that equals 360. So the same like the previous sum, and then you can work out y will equal 104. So just write, see if you can find that. So y is 104. So again, the trick here is they didn't give this 90. They just gave that a rectangle. And when they give the rectangle, then you know that side is equal to 90. Right? So now we finish with that one as well. So let's do this one over here. So, okay, let's see what we have. We have, this is not parallel, they equal to each other. Okay, we have that. We have this here is also showing equal. And we have both sides over here, that's parallel and that's parallel. So let's go to the other diagram and let's see with all the sides are equal. If the sides are equal and parallel, what can we identify? So let's see, it's not A, it's not B, because it didn't give that rectangle. So it looks like diagram E, where these 2 opposite sides are the same. These 2 yellow opposite sides are the same. And that is parallel. And that's so diagram E it looks like. So that means A equals C and B equals D. So the 2 opposite angles are the same, right? So let's go to the other diagram and just see the question. So what do they want? They want A over here. So the 2 opposites are the same. So that means A will equal 57, because that's A and 57 is there, right? So if you just look at this one again, so A equals C, so it's the 2 opposite angles that's the same, and that's why we've identified A equals 57. So very important, this is what I'm talking about, that we must identify the characteristics of the quadrilateral, and for example, the sides that are the same. And once we do this and we identify what diagram it is, then we know the rules that we can apply, and then it becomes much easier. Right, so let's do this one over here. So we have those 2 sides that are the same, and then we have these 2 that are parallel. So it's 2 sides that are equal and the other 2 parallel. So let's see what we can find. So here we go, 2 sides that's equal and the other 2 sides that's parallel. And if we have something like this, so it's diagram D. So in diagram D, A equals B and D equals C. So let's see, what do they want? So they want B. So we've identified that these 2 are equal to each other. So B will equal 63. So now, so this one here equals that one. If you look at the previous diagram. Okay, so now that we've done, let's look at this one. What do we have here? So a rectangle means what? That angle is how much? 90 degrees. Any rectangle, or not a rectangle, sorry, the square, it means this angle is 90 degrees. And now at this point again, you have one unknown and you have 1, 2, 3 other angles. So now you can just say C plus 81 plus 103 plus 90, all of that equals 360. And then if you work it out separately, and like I say, just look at my previous videos, and if videos for algebra, and if you work it out, you'll get C equal to 86. So that's C equal 86. And once you have that, then you know your answer is correct. Right, let's do another couple of more sums. Let's look at this. So what do we have here? So already here you can see we have a kite. All right, so let's see this kite. You can already go to the main question and look at the kite or the main diagram. So if you have a kite, which means these two lines are the same, that two are the same, then A equals C. So that's the only rule that we have. A equals C. So if we go back to this diagram, we see here's a 100 and E, so that will be equal to each other. So E equals 100. Why? Because let's just go back again, because it say if it is like that, then these two are equal to each other. A equals C. So now we have E equals 100. So, but here's a D as well. But now we have this 100, and remember that's a square, so it means that's 90 degrees. So now we actually have 3 angles and 1 unknown. So now we can just say D plus 100 plus 100 plus 90 equals 360. And then if you do it on your calculator, or if you do it on a separate page, then you can get the answer of D equals 70. That's that D over there. All right, let's go to the diagram here on top. So I can already see there's a 90 degrees, a 90 degrees, a 90. And if you look at all the characteristics, it looks like this diagram B. So we have the two sides the same. There's the yellow two, they are the same. And all the angles are 90. So the question is, what is F? But if all the others are 90, we can already say just F equals 90. That was an easy one. Let's do the one here at the bottom. Let's just remove this. So let's do this one. So here we have this line parallel to that. So keep that in mind. And this line equal to each other. So one is parallel and one is equal to. So let's see, what do we have? We have, so here's a parallel and there's an equal to, and that's the one we're going to use. So A equals B and D equals C. So let's see in the diagram. Okay, so that means these two are equal. So G equals 110. That's how we do that one. All right, let's go to the last page with questions. 2 more. So here we see they are the same, lines are the same, the on top is also the same, so okay. And we have everything parallel. So we look at 2 sides are the same and the other 2 and parallel. So let's go to this and see what can we identify. It's not A, it's not B, not D. Oh, it looks like E. It looks like E because we have that pair the same, that 2 pair of sides are the same, and they are all parallel. So yes, so diagram E. So what's the rules? The rules for diagram E is A equals C and B equals D. So it looks like the 2 opposites are the same. You just double check again. Yes, the two opposites are the same. So in our question, let me just do this first. The two opposite angles will be the same. So if we do that, then H will equal 130. Right, so that one is done. Last one. Last one. So we have two sides are the same. They two are parallel. So let's see, what do we have? So this looks slightly different. So I'll explain now. Let's first identify the diagram. So it looks like diagram D. All right, so diagram D tells us A equals B and D equals C. So we've identified diagram D. But now let's just go back to the sum because this thing looks a bit different. So it means these two are the same and these two are the same. But we can't say I equals 72. That's not right. Because as you can see, I equal that one over there. So let's just go back and just double check if we've identified the right diagram. Yes, we have. So, okay, so let's see how can we get to the answer. So what I'm going to do now, so we know from the diagram that if that is 72, then this must also be 72. So let's just write that down. But we also know if this is I, then this here must also be I. Because remember that the rule states if you have something like this, you just draw it here again. And if you have two lines that are the same and the other two that are parallel, then that two are the same and the two blue ones are the same. So that's why, let me just remove a couple of things here so that it looks neater. So if we look at all of this, if this is I, then that will also be I, because these two are the same. So just see what I'm going to do now. So now I'm going to use, I'm just going to go back to this diagram, and I'm going to use this rule that say all the angles are the same. A plus B plus C plus D are not the same. All the angles equal 360. So if I go back to this one, so now I have identified the 72 because they are the same. And this is I and that is I. So now I'm going to say I plus 72 plus 72, oops, equal 360. Because now I'm going to use that rule where all the angles equal 360. So what I'm going to get is I plus I. Again, look at my algebra video. Let me just remove this over here. So again, look at my algebra video just to see how I did that. Then you'll see I plus I is 2I plus 144 equals 360. So 2I will equal 360 minus 144, which equals 216. And then I will equal 216 divided by 2, which is 108. So only one I is 108. So that angle is 108, but this was the original one we wanted. That's 108. So this is a different kind of question, but I just explained now how we can use all the rules to get to the answer. So just to double check if we are right, remember the rules are that all the angles inside must be 360. And if you check and add 72 plus 72 plus 108 plus 108, and then you will indeed get 360. So then at least you know that is right. So this was quadrilaterals. Quite a mouthful, and like you can see, it's a lot of rules that you must remember. That's why you could see every page, every question, we came back to this front page with diagrams A, B, C, D, and E. And as you can see, if you know all the rules and you can identify the diagram, then you know what rules to apply to get to your answer. So thank you very much. I hope that could help. Goodbye.